Let's settle ourselves into a nice upright but comfortable posture. So remember, as we settle here, we don't want to be distracted by discomfort through ankles, knees, hips. So wriggle yourself into a place where you can be as comfortable as possible. From that point, feel those sit bones and their contact with whichever sitting support you've chosen. Let them inform you. Are you sitting up straight? Are you drifting to the right or the left? Once you know that, then use those sit bones to guide you upwards as you lengthen your spine out of your hips. Grow tall. Imagine spaces between each of the vertebrae as you grow tall. Then let's lift the shoulders up towards the ears. Peel them back. Hug those shoulder blades towards one another. And then rest the hands on the legs or in the lap. Extend up through the neck, crown reaching for the ceiling, chin parallel with the ground. And then allow the eyes to close if they haven't already. And starting that journey inward now. So first acknowledging any sounds going on around you, any sounds outside the room, any sounds inside the room. And then as you draw your sense of hearing closer and closer, eventually settle on the sound of your breath. And as usual, it's the natural breath we focus on. This amazing body, amazing brain, just taking in enough of an in-breath, releasing enough of an out-breath to satisfy your body's needs right now. But as you settle on the sound of your breath, perhaps the sound as it passes in and out through the nose first, just notice, how would you describe the sound? And then shifting the attention to the sound of the breath as it moves over the throat. How would you describe the sound of the breath as it moves over the throat? Mind fully focused just on the sound of the breath at the throat. We've been introducing Ujjayi breath lately, or reintroducing Ujjayi breath lately. So it's been new for some, a revisit for others. And as we focus on the breath at the back of the throat, you might notice the more we focus that there is a little contraction that seems to follow the attention on the breath and the sound at the back of the throat. And as we start to describe the sound of the breath as it moves in and out here, maybe it's a bit like the sound of the ocean, the waves rolling in, the waves rolling out. Maybe you describe it like a baby snoring. Some people describe it that way. Maybe you notice a sense of powerfulness about the sound. So this breath is sometimes called the victorious breath. I notice I flip between a few descriptions. So either Ujjayi breathing, ocean breath, victorious breath. Really doesn't matter, it's the same breath. This breath helps bring focus even. So some people find it quite hard to keep this breath going when it's new. It's almost like we're using new muscles. So as with anything else, excuse me, when we're using new muscles, it takes a bit of practice and we can become tired and then we have to let it go for a while and then we can revisit. So through the rest of the physical practice, we're going to be offering up this Ujjayi breath. If it works for you, use it. If it becomes distracting and an effort for you, let it go. The beauty of this is that even if we were together in the same room, nobody else probably would be aware that you were making the sound, only audible to you, ideally. So as we begin our warm up through the neck, maybe this is an opportunity to try using our victorious breath, our ocean breath, with the next out breath. Let's focus on the sound as you release the chin round over the right shoulder. Notice the pause that's there, and then inhale back to center, following the sound. Pausing there, waiting for the out breath. Follow the sound around to the left shoulder. And then repeating 3 times in each direction as usual. Check in with the length through the neck, crown reaching upwards, ears above shoulders. And following the sound as you breathe out, right ear towards right shoulder. Inhaling back up to the middle, follow the sound. Exhaling, left ear towards left shoulder. So after the third visit, left ear towards left shoulder, returning to the middle. And from here, finding your number 8 on its side in front and let the nose roll around your number 8, adjusting size for comfort. And on finding center of number 8 next time, changing direction. Next time you reach the middle, Coming to a pause. And checking inward now. If you were able to keep with the connection, keep with the sound of that Ujjayi breath, that victorious breath, your ocean breath, did it help at all to kind of take you inward? Did it help you hold your focus while you were making those movements through the neck? And then let's just take the backward rolls through the shoulders. You hug them up, take them back, drop them down, draw them forwards. These unwinding movements through the shoulders. And then let's bring our arms and up into a stop position. So as we bring the arms into the stop position now, just make sure that you're not sitting back against a chair back and there's nothing restricting movement in your upper back at the moment. And then while we're here, won't be here very long, I promise, switch on that core. So get that pelvic floor drawn up, those tummy muscles drawn up. So feel the sense of power they bring you in this upright posture. So just contending with the weight of the arms here now. Have we got right angles at the elbows? Are we comfortably able to hold the arms in this position? Does it feel like your forearms are lined up with your ears? Does it feel like you could be sandwiched between two panes of glass? And as we breathe out, can we take a little tilt towards the right, holding this posture? And then as we breathe in, can we come up to the middle? Breathing out, take a little tilt to the left. Inhaling up to the middle. A couple more of these in each direction. Core working, arms working. Whole body sandwiched or whole upper body sandwiched between these two panes of glass. And when you drift to the left for the third time, we'll come back up to the middle and then bring the forearms together. So as we bring the forearms together, feel the elbows touch if they can, wrists, hands, and then we'll drift those arms apart again and see where the elbows go now. So the forearms may even go back beyond that point where they lines up with the ears. Breathe out, bring those forearms together. Breathe in, let's drift them back. Starting to feel into the shoulders and the stretch that may happen at the upper arms for you, maybe not. And then bring the arms together now. And as they come towards one another, maybe you can cross the right upper arm over the left. Maybe you can wrap the forearms around one another. You may be able to bring the hands together, sort of palms touching, or it may be fingers on palms as I've got. If that's not possible, it may be hands back to back. But see if you can keep the elbows lifted at about shoulder height. And we're going to untangle from here as you next breathe in, drift those arms wide again. And this time as those forearms come together, bypass left one going over the top of the right and see if we can tangle ourselves this way. And it might feel different. It may be possible this side where it wasn't the other, maybe the other way around. And then as we breathe in next, let's untangle, release the arms out to the side for the last time, and then release the arms down and to the side and roll off through those shoulders again. Did you feel that? So from here, let's shift ourselves. Can we come to lying face down and onto the ground at this stage? Just going to join you on the ground, so just switching my camera while you get yourselves down there. And when we come onto our fronts, if you go straight for making a pillow with your arms, resting your hands on your pillow and wiggling your feet to at least hip width apart now. So it's going to be the kindest place for the feet and for to have your feet for your back comfort. So we've been focusing on the arms a little bit and the shoulders a little bit there. So we're going to leave the arms where they are to rest them a little bit, let them recover. And let's focus on the feet. So if you start to tuck your toes under, if that's possible for you, thinking about waking up those toes now. You might feel a little bit of stretch into those toes, not working into real discomfort. I know there's a couple of you on screen with toe issues, so be gentle. With those toes tucked under, if you've managed that, let's now push the heels back towards the wall behind. Feel the knees possibly lift away from the ground. Feel a little bit of stretch in the backs of the calves, but think of this as an extension through the backs of the legs, almost like you're trying to stretch the legs out of the hips, and keep the legs in that position for now as you lift the right leg away from the ground now. So lift the whole length of the leg away from the ground. Initially push the heel back towards the wall behind and then point the toes and release that right leg down to the ground. Let that right leg go. So the left toe should still be tucked under. Let's focus on pushing the heel away as you lift the leg away from the ground, just like we did the other side. Reach the heel towards the wall behind and then point the toes. It's like you extend the leg further and then release that left leg down onto the ground. So both legs feeling equally long, equally spacious at the fronts of the hips. And now we might be able to release the arms forward. So stretch the arms forward, arms along, legs along, and just focusing on the right arm for a moment. See if you can lift the whole length of the right arm away from the ground. So lifting from the shoulder, whole length of arm, forehead stays on the ground. And then actively reach for the wall on the other side of the room through those fingertips and then let go of the right arm. Same thing with the left, whole length of the left arm lifted. Reach towards the wall on the other side with the fingertips and then let go of the left arm. Stretching through the whole length of the body now. Point the toes back, reach the fingers forward, lengthen, stretch. Create space not only at the shoulders and the hips, but the waist, the whole length of the body. And let go of that stretch. So feel free to make your pillow again and rest your head on your pillow while I just explain. We've been doing locust poses where we started with the kind of traditional where we made fists and we popped underneath the groin and the pelvis and used them as a fulcrum to create lift in either end of the body. We lifted our head, we lifted our legs. We didn't really like that. That wasn't very comfortable. We adapted by placing one hand on top of the other just beneath the pelvis, and we did the same lift. So that was a modification of the locust there. And I was going to offer up another modification now. And we've prepped really well for this. So this modification is a whole body stretch, just like you did just now, but we'll be lifting the two ends of the body and essentially balancing on our pelvis and tummy and maybe chest, depending on how much of a lift you get in the upper body. So it's not for looks. This is all about creating back strength and a feeling of power and space. And we're going to be using the breath to help us with this. So we're going to come into the stretch and the back lift as we breathe in, and then we're going to soften down to the ground as we breathe out. And if that's going well for you, we may find that we can hold a lift on the fourth attempt with a bit of luck. So the first thing to do is to bring the arms back to that extended, reachy posture. So arms go forward. So the good thing about this, it sounds like it's quite scary, but when you have your arms reaching forward and your legs reaching back, And when we think length is more important than lift, this is much kinder on the back than you might think. So just to cover this off, if you do get any discomfort in your back, two things. Think about whether you really are going for the length, and more important, to get length over lift. If that still doesn't feel right when you adjust this or think about it in a different way, then maybe bring the arms back down by the sides and make the same kind of lift. So I'll be watching those of you that I can see. So let's get ready to go with this. If those arms are extended, legs are extended, remember, think of the in-breath and think of length. So as we next breathe in, guide the breath nice and deeply, reach the legs back, reach the arms forward, get loads and loads of length, and lift those legs, lift those arms, let the head pop up if it wants to go. And as you breathe out, release from there, let go. Think about what you felt. If you've got a vulnerable back, was there any strain there? Another thing you could do is check your foot position. So we started off with the feet at least hip width apart. If they've crept together and you found that a strain on the back, check those legs are still apart. And let's go with a few more of these then. If you're able, breathing in, lifting and stretching, length important, lift not so. Come down as you breathe out. Yeah. Breathing in, rising up, and breathing out to release down. So choice now, either working exactly the same way, inhaling to come up, exhaling to come down, or inhaling to come up. Keep breathing as you hold this, keep reaching, keep finding length, keep stretching. Maybe if you hold this as you breathe in, you feel that breath moving so deeply that you create a little bit of a rock. Any point you need to come down, this starts to feel too strong, shift yourself back into child pose. Well done, Sal. Brilliant. Hold there, Kim. Going for another one, Sal, or you're relaxing? Remember, think length over lift. Good job. When you've held that long enough, and then you've gone back into your child's pose, we're going to push up to all fours into a tabletop position. Don't rush, Sal, just stretch off there. And when we do come up into tabletop position, we're going to go straight into simple cat-cow movement. So we take our spine in and out of that back extension and the curve. That's it. So we can all catch up with one another. We all know what we're doing here. And then popping in this invitation to revisit our UGI breath, our ocean breath. So when we focus on the breath and the movement, there's little else the mind can cope with if it really is focused on the sound of the breath, the sensation of the breath, and the movement that's happening in the body. Because we're constricting the space at the back of the throat, it's a bit like when we do our alternate nostril breathing. We're narrowing the space that the air has to move in and out of the body. So we would expect a slowing down of the breath. And when we get a slowing down of the breath in a little sequence like this, we should get a slowing down of the movement. So the quality of the movement may improve. And then let's, next time we breathe out, guide the tail back towards the heels into your child's pose. Have the arms wherever you need them now for shoulders to recover, wrists. And next thing we need to do is to come over onto our back if we could. So find your way over gently, just want to get into the hips a little bit. So as we come over onto our back, if we could take the arms nice and wide and have the feet at mat width apart, gently create a little bit of twisting in the hips, maybe into the back, and still with the breath if we can. So still with that ocean breathing, if that's working for you. Let's roll the knees over towards the right as we breathe out, and breathe in to bring those knees back up to the middle. Wait for the next out breath to release to the left, and let the nose drift in the opposite direction to the knees if that's comfortable for you. And while we're doing this, warming up through these hips, you might like to think about the position your arms are in and just offering up an alternative to see how this suits you. If you bent your elbows to that 90 degrees, will your forearms and the backs of your hands rest on the floor comfortably? So I know some of you have had issues, we've had breakages, we've had sprains, all sorts of stuff, not yoga related, of course. So how does this work out for you? Maybe it's more comfortable. Do the shoulders stay on the ground just as well? And then next time those knees move over to the left. Let's come back up to center. And once up to center, let's cross the legs over one another. Let's take the right leg over the left, so there's no gapping between the thighs. So if the arms are still in that cactus position, the 45 degrees at the elbow position, let's bring those arms in over the front of the body now, in front of the face, and cross the right upper arm over the left. And then see if we can wrap those forearms again. So just as we did at the start of the session, can you now lift your knees towards your elbows as you breathe out? So switch on your core, draw up, draw the elbows and the knees towards one another, curl up, and then as you breathe in, release away again. Let the head come to the ground, let the foot come to the floor. Breathe out to hug the elbows and knees together. Core muscles have to go on to help you with this. Breathe in to come back again. One more time, hug together. And then as you come back to the ground this time, release those arms, release the feet, keep the knees bent, feet on the ground, arms back to that 90-degree bend, arms released on the floor. And then we'll cross the left leg over the right. And then as we bring those forearms together now, let's see if we can wrap them the other way. So the left upper arm goes over the right one, and with a bit of luck, we are there. Remember, there's always that back of hand option, backs of hands together. And then 3 times, core on, lift the knees and the elbows towards one another. And breathe in to come away. Breathing out, elbows to knees. Breathe in to come away. 3 times. And after that 3rd one, as the foot comes to the ground, untangle the legs, untangle the arms, release the arms into any position they need to be to recover from that. Come back to just a few rounds of breath to relax core, relax that low back, have the legs wherever you need them for them to recover. Fantastic. And then, sorry to do this to you, but we're going to roll over again, but this time come up to our all 4 square position. So gradually make your way to your tabletop. So I just needed to get you off your knees a little bit, because we're going to be on the knees for a little while now. So from this position, we're going to step the right foot forward now. So when we bring the right foot forward, hopefully your hands still reach the floor. If you happen to have blocks, you could use the blocks beneath the hands to give you a little bit more lift and arm length. But if your hands happily reach the floor, fingertips on the floor would be great. If your fingers don't feel as if they're up for that, obviously palms on the floor. But from this position here, we're going to work into the right shoulder. So we're going to do that by taking the right hand, hopefully it's still on the right side of your right foot. I'm going to take that right hand back, but follow it with the eyes if you can. As you take your right hand back, bring it up and overhead, and then all the way down towards the ground, and then continue until you've done 3 big loops here. Right hand going back, feel that arc in the shoulder, eyes following hands if we can. And then as the hand comes to the ground after that 3rd loop, let's stop. Let's come back to 2 knees and then switch around. So left foot is forward. And then we do the same thing with the left hand. So it starts on the left of the left foot. And then again, take that left arm back. Eyes follow the hand as much as possible. It comes up and overhead, back to the floor in front of you. 3 rounds. Once the hand comes to the ground, let's bring that right foot forward again. So step back to 2, bring the right foot forward. But this time we're going to make it a little tougher as we tuck the left toes under, push the left heel back. So we're now in a runner's lunge position. See if you can keep your right knee bent with your right knee above your right ankle. And then the left hand remains on the floor, and we'll do the same thing with the right arm again. So right hand goes back. Watch it if you can. If it's not good for your balance, then look at the floor, but let the neck move if it needs to. After the third rotation, lower the back knee so we can step back and switch around and take the same thing the other side. So tuck your right toes under, push your right heel back. Make sure you've got the right angle on the left knee, sitting above your left ankle, and then off we go again. Take the arm back, up and over and forward. Follow the movement with the eyes if you can. And here, when you bring that left hand to the ground after the third rotation, pause here. We're going to try and step the left foot back to join the right and come into down facing dog from here. So the bottom is up and go straight into walking your dog. Let your head drop, let the neck soften, walk through the dog. And from here, come to a still point and walk those hands back towards the feet, arriving in a forward fold. And let this be a really soft forward fold. Let your head hang, your neck is really relaxed, the shoulders really relaxed. Let those arms hang from the shoulders. Is your neck really relaxed? Is the top of the head hanging towards the ground? Brilliant, good adjustment there. And then with those knees soft, decide, do we need to come up with a long flat back? If so, bend the knees, lengthen through the spine, hinge up from those hips. Or if you're a roller upper, slowly uncurling. Yay. And standing at the back edge of the mat. So from back edge of mat now, let's take a big step forward with the right foot. So visualize your train tracks. When that right foot comes forward, plonk it on a train track on the right one. So we've got some spacing between the knees, between the feet even. As you bend that right knee now, let's come up onto the toes of the left foot. And let's feel into our grounding, our foundation here. Are we in a position we can withstand any wobbles? So particularly if you've got carpet and mat, know that balance is always a bit tricky. So it's worth just feeling in, reminding your muscles where they're going to perhaps be called into action. So from here, let's bring our hands into a prayer position. So you'll remember our sun breaths now. So still focusing on the shoulders. Your core is on. With an in-breath, we take a little dip and then a rebound. Reach up, separate those arms as you breathe out to come down. Take a little dip and then rebound. Push up, out, round and down. Third one, up, out, round. And as we come down this time, let's bring the hands to the ground. So lean forward, hands come to the ground. Let's shift the weight now into that right foot and the hands. Create your tripod. Will your left foot then want to pop up in the air? Yay, any amount, millimeters, meters, whatever. Think about this when we replace that left foot on the ground, make sure it's on its left train track. So we've got space. And then switch on your core, bring your hands back to your hips. This is a big push up. Hands at hips, switch on core, long flat back, push into your ground, come up and step back. Back towards the back edge of the mat. And then stepping your left foot forward onto the train track on the left. And then as you bend your left knee up onto the toes of the right foot, hands come to prayer. Feeling here, do we feel stable? Could we withstand a wobble? Could we recover? And then inhaling, arms go up. Exhaling, sweeping down, little dip, push up. And third one, remember, we're going to come forwards, hands to the ground. Feel the two hands in that left foot, make your tripod shape, let your right foot pop up behind, any amount. When you need to lower that right foot, control, bring it to its right train track, draw the hands back to the hips, let the core come on, and lengthen through spine, keep that back long and flat, push into the ground to come up, and step back. Yeah. Brilliant. So from here then, let's take a shimmy to the front edge of the mat. And I want you to do that little sequence kind of in reverse, because we've been building it onto the front of a sun salute sequence. So if we do this in kind of reverse, we're going to bring our hands to prayer like we would at the beginning of a sun salute sequence. And this time we're going to step the right foot back. So think about where you're going to place that right foot. Think about that those train tracks. Yes. So as long as you've got a bit of widthway space between the legs, we should be fairly stable. And then soften that left knee. We're up on the toes of the right foot so that we're feeling the work, the anchoring, the strength. And then off we go again, breathing in, sun breaths, breathing out a little dip and a push up. 3 of these sun breaths. And then hinging forwards and into your tripod. As we go into tripod, let that right foot drift up behind. And then lower that foot onto its train track. And if you can choose here, do you want to bring your hands to your hips, or would you be ready to reach the arms forward and sweep them up as you come up to standing? Do the right thing for you. On and out breath, hands come to prayer as you step forward to front edge of mat. Yes. Let's do the second side. So taking your left foot back now onto your left train track. As you bend your right knee, 3 sun breaths here, reaching up, look up, and a little dip and a push. You come for the second one. On that third one, we're going to come forward, hands to the ground, left foot pops up. And when you bring it down, plant it on the left train track. Decide for you, is it hands to hips and come up with a flat back, or are you going to extend the arms forward and stepping forward, hands to prayer. Brilliant. So from here, we can go straight into our sun salute by releasing the arms all the way up and then coming into forward fold. And then right foot going back into your lunge. And then your down facing dog. From down facing dog, let's glide into the plank. And then lower into knees, chest, chin, if you can, or slither into your cobra-like pose. Beautifully done. Back to down facing dog when you're ready. And then we'll step the right foot forward first, or walk the feet towards the hands. Left foot forward, find yourself in your forward fold. Take care of your back. Bend those knees. Rolling up, or take hands to hips and push all the way up. Beautifully done. Arms raised and return to prayer. Second side. Inhaling, releasing up. Exhaling, forward fold. Your left foot going back first into your lunge. And then right foot goes with it to down facing dog. And then we glide into the plank. From your plank, knees, chest, chin, or find your way through to your cobra. Lovely. Down facing dog again. And then the left foot forwards, or walk the feet towards the hands into forward fold. And coming up, best way for you, your back. Raise those arms. Hands return to prayer. Taking the right foot back, plonk it on your train track. Left knee is bent, we're up on the toes of the right foot. 3 sun breaths here, rising up. And a little dip as we come down. Rising up. Little dip to come down. On the third one, we're going to hinge forward. Hands come to the ground. Let the right foot pop up as you have a tripod in front. Carefully replacing your right foot on its train track. Either hands to hips and come up, or swing the arms forward, push up. And step to front edge of mat. Hands to prayer. And then taking the left foot back onto the train track. And taking, wait, good save, pushing up. 3 sun breaths. A little bounce between and push up. And folding forwards as the hands come down, the left foot pops up this time. And then carefully replacing left foot, left train track, core on, coming up. And stepping back, front edge of mat, hands to prayer. On with our second part. Arms go up. And then to forward fold. Right foot going back into your lunge, and then down facing dog. Swinging to your plank. And then knees, chest, chin, and into your cobra. Back to down facing dog. Then right foot forwards, or walk feet towards hands and into your forward fold. And coming up, safest way for your back. Returning to prayer. Second side, arms go up. Exhaling, forward fold. Delivering left foot back into lunge. And then down facing dog. Gliding into your plank. And then knees, chest, chin, and cobra. Down facing dog. Left foot forwards, or walk feet towards hands. From forward fold, coming up, safest way for your back. Reach those arms high and draw hands back to prayer. Closing the eyes for a moment there and focusing on your breath. If you're able to find your, excuse me, I nearly said alternate nostril breathing. No, your Ujjayi breath, your ocean breath. So interrupting those sequences for a moment to add a little bit of side bending, still with the ocean breath if we can. Let's release the arms up overhead. When you take the arms up overhead, let's interlink the fingers and push the palms up towards the ceiling. So rising up, fingers reaching up. Sorry, I'm only widening my legs so that my hands come into shot, which is proving quite difficult. So reach those legs up. And from here, really stretch upwards. So we're back to that as we did when we did our locust, thinking length over side bend, which is going to happen here. Try and keep your ears pinned between your upper arms at this point. And then we're reaching upwards to the right. So creating a stretch in the left side of the body as you reach upwards to your right. So we're not trying to go down towards the right wall, we're going upwards and over towards that place where the ceiling meets the wall. And then coming up to the middle. And then just take a stretch to same place but left side. So we feel the same kind of stretch on the right side of the body. Coming back up to the middle. And then over to the right again, but this time as we stretch upwards and to the right, push your left foot into the ground. As you push the left foot down and the hands up and over, feel into the left side of the ribs, the left side of the waist, the whole length of the left side of the body, and then come up to the middle again. Same thing, other side. Upward stretch. Push the right foot into the ground. Keep reaching, focusing, and then up to the middle. This time release the arms out to the side, round and down, roll off through those shoulders. And then ensure that you're at the front edge of the mat again for another round of into that sequence, our kind of mixed, our blended sequence. So let's bring our hands to prayer, getting ready now to take the right foot back. Step that right foot onto your train track. Feel safe. Bend the left knee and 3 sun breaths here. How do these sun breaths feel after those side stretches? Is there a little bit more space and freedom? And this third time, coming to the ground, into your tripod, let your right foot pop up. And then bend the left knee to replace your right foot on the train tracks. Come up in the safest way for you. Hands to hips and up, or reach the arms forward and sweep up and return to front edge of mat. Hands to prayer. Left foot going back. Soften that right knee. Push up, inhaling up. Arms out, round and down. And on this third one, hands to the ground, make your tripod, let your left foot drift up. Bend your right knee, carefully replace your left foot on its train track. Come all the way up. Step back, front edge of mat. And then up we go with those arms. High mountain, forward fold. And right foot back into lunge. Left foot goes back to down facing dog. And then into plank. Knees, chest, chin. And cobra. Down facing dog. Right foot forward first. Walk feet towards hands, arriving forward folds. Soft knees to come up. Safest way for you. Return to prayer. Inviting you to close your eyes and employ our ocean breath as we do this round. Forward fold. Left foot back to lunge. Right foot goes back, down facing dog. Into your plank. Knees, chest, chin, and cobra. Down facing dog. Left foot forward to lunge. Or walk feet towards hands. Bend those knees. Come all the way out of your forward fold. And as those hands return to prayer, back to your breath. Close those eyes, feel into the feet. How are the toes? How are the feet? Been talking about hips, been talking about shoulders, but the feet have been not exactly taken for granted, but they've actually been working really hard with those toes tucked under. They've been really important in terms of your foundation, your balance, the stretch, the flexibility. How are the legs? How are the calves? So those calves have been stretching. Your quads have been working really hard. How are the hips? How's that core? How's your back? How are the shoulders? The neck? How's your focus? How's your attention right now? Are you finding ocean breathing creeping into your physical practice? Is it helping you with the overall focus and attention? So you release those hands from prayer position now. Just taking a little time to create a balance here. So I was going to do the warrior 3 type balance. So it's up to you whether you adjust what's beneath your feet at the moment, remembering carpet and mat together make it more challenging. So maybe you're after more challenge, maybe you're not adjusting. So that warrior 3 balance is a lovely one and fits really well with what we're doing, because it starts pretty much with the same foot position. Your foundation is pretty much the same, but we take a much tinier step forward with the right foot. But as we do, when we take that step forward, you plant that foot, you make your right foot feel as big as you possibly can. Lift and spread the toes of the right foot. And then as you plant them, feel that that right foot is bigger. Imagine those roots going down into the ground to hold you strong, to be stable. You can come up onto the toes of the left foot and then think about your body here. We're getting this idea of, sorry, I've just got a strange message come up on my screen. Gosh, sorry. Get rid of. Right, I'm back with you. What's going on there? So we're thinking length of body from the left foot all the way up the back of the left leg, up the spine and to the crown of the head. So we're not trying to get a major lift of that left leg up behind when we come into this. Just having the tips of the toes on the ground is going to be enough. You might find that the leg lifts, but the overall straight line from your hands to your foot is far more important than any big lift of that back leg. If you want to take it further, I'm just going to shift my other leg because it's stronger. You can do, but all the time we keep that long straight line, fingertips to foot. So if you're going to lean forward, essentially your leg's got to match at the back. So my recommendation would be, don't go too far into this. But from this foundation, let's reach the arms up now. So fingers pointing towards the ceiling while we're vertical. And then when we go past vertical, guide your chest forward. The breastbone comes forward slightly. See if those toes want to drift away from the ground. Keep looking forwards, but are you breathing also? Reach the toes back. Reach crown upwards and forwards. Yay. Is the degree of movement of the upper body being matched by the leg that's counterbalancing you behind? Come back to 2 feet on the ground. And let's try the other side. That little step forward with the left foot. Up onto the toes of the right. Make that left foot feel big. Spread the toes of the left foot. Lift, separate, replace. Send those roots down. Breathing smooth. Release the arms up. That reach upward, that length. Remember, we don't have to bring that back leg very far away from the ground. Think length. Breathe. If we don't breathe, we can't sustain this. Focus. Where's your attention? Listen to the sound of your ocean breath. Easing yourself back to 2 feet, arms relaxed. Yeah. So from here, let's find ourselves back to the ground again. So gather any bits and pieces you're going to need for your relaxation so they're not far away. And as we come down onto the ground, we're coming onto our backs, if we could. And going to create a little bit more twisting. So if you were to bring your knees in over the chest, over the tummy here. And we'll go for a little bit of releasing through the hips before we go into this. So if you have one hand on top of each knee to begin with, just have that gentle rotational movement through the hips as you take your knees counter-rotating and feel that in those hips. And while you're doing this, get that core switched on. So feel the way, once you switch your core on, it can now take control of your back, and we're aiming to keep the back fixed on the ground as you switch direction through those legs, leg movements rather. And then next time those knees come together, let's keep the knees in over the tummy and release the arms out wide. So choice of posture for the arms. Are they going to be straight out nice and wide, or are we going to have a right angle at the elbows? You might want to play around with the arm position as you go through this. You might find that having the arms outstretched when we do this gives you more stability, but play around and see how this goes. In case you've allowed those core muscles to relax, let's switch them back on again. And then we're going to take the knees a little way over towards your right as you breathe out. And then use the core to roll the waist into the ground, bring the knees back up to center, roll a little way as you next breathe out to the left, back up to the middle, and then switching side to side, your core controlling the weight of your legs and protecting your back. Each time you come to center, fix the back onto the ground, and only taking those legs as far to the sides as you feel you've got control with that core. So we're avoiding going to the floor at the moment. We will go to the floor, but only when we've done the power work. So proving to yourself that you've got the strength to control the weight of the legs as you drift past center. Those legs start to feel heavy. So we're building up strength in core. Using the breath. And then if, as you're building the distance that these knees move into, if it feels like you could allow gravity to now carry your knees all the way down to the ground as you next come into your twist, we could stay there for a moment. But think about your left shoulder when those knees go to the right. Reposition your arm to make sure your left shoulder is not being strained. And just check your neck is happy, however you've placed your head at this stage. So it may be that your nose may be pointing in the opposite direction to your knees. Could you take a few Ujjayi breaths? If it doesn't feel right for you to, keep your knees to the ground in this big twist, just go gently from side to side. You could even take your feet to the ground and move side to side. After your third ocean breath, start to think about drawing those knees up to the middle. So if you want to leave your feet on the floor and then bring the knees to face the ceiling and then bring the knees over the tummy, that's an option. Ooh, good strong backs. And then let's see if we can drift those knees over towards the left. Again, let gravity take them all the way to the ground if body is willing. Check in with your right shoulder now. Make sure it's not under strain while we think about the twist. And then if you're happy here, maybe the nose is pointing in the opposite direction to the knees, and maybe we can take 3 ocean breaths here. After your third ocean breath, prepare to come back up to the middle again. And the safest way for you, is it feet to the floor? Have you got strength to bring those heavy legs up and over the tummy? Lift the nose towards the knees when you come up. Curl up into your little ball. And then let's take the feet to the ground. Arms by the sides. And finishing with an oh so familiar sequence, yet another sequence, I know. So as we breathe in next time, let's bring the right knee in over the chest. And as we breathe out, let's lift the nose towards that knee. Breathing in, release the arms back to the floor behind as you extend the leg up in the air, straighten that leg. Core on again to breathe out, bring the arms and straight leg lower all the way down to the ground. And two more with that right side, inhaling, knee in over chest, exhaling, nose to knee. Breathe in to straighten the leg, arms go back to the floor behind. Breathe out to lower. Third time, maybe we could use the ocean breathing if that's stopped. After the third time, we do the right leg. We switch over to the left. Left knee comes in over the chest as you breathe in. Breathing out, nose to knees. Inhaling, leg goes up, arms go back. Breathing out to lower. Sounds of the ocean breath. The slowing down of the breath. The slowing down of the movement. The breath, the sound, the movement, the focus. Fully mindful on the practice. After the third time with the left, moving on to the two legs together, breathing out, ocean breath. Breathing out, nose to knees. Breathe in, legs extend up. Breathing out, remember to bend your knees, bring the feet to the floor unless you're sure of your core strength, back safety. 3 times with the two legs. And when you've done the third round, let go. Find any extra bits and pieces you might need to support your relaxation. Make sure you're going to be warm enough. Use any cushions beneath knees to soften the posture in that way. Add a pillow beneath the head if you need that. Anything you need that's going to enable you to be comfortable in your relaxation. So as we move into this relaxation, let your head roll from side to side. And then as it comes back to center, encourage the chin a little closer to the chest as you feel the back of the neck lengthen. And then allow the head to be heavy on the ground. Allow the shoulders to spread. Release the arms from the shoulders. Feel the whole length of the spine as it settles. Feel supported by the ground. Feel the low back relaxed. Hips open, legs extending from those hips. Give up the weight of the legs to the ground. Knees soft, ankles relaxed, feet relaxed. So just taking 5 alternate nostril breaths to help lead us into our relaxation. So our alternate nostril breathing, we don't need the hands, we can do this with the imagination. So just starting, I'll lead you through these. So inhaling through your left nostril and exhaling through your right. Imagine inhaling through your right nostril and exhaling through your left. Inhaling left, exhaling right. Inhaling right, exhaling left. Inhaling left, exhaling right. Inhaling right, exhaling left. Inhaling left, exhaling right. Inhaling right, exhaling left. Breathing in left, breathing out right. Breathing in right, breathing out left. And letting go of the directional breath and feel the body now relaxing, allowing this body to now just be. Feel the whole of this body spreading out and settled on the ground. Allow it to let go into a state of relaxation. Allow the body to feel as if it's drifting away, perhaps. And as this body drifts into this relaxation, just be aware of the breath coming and going. Maybe you can visualize a color of indigo blue surrounding your body, creating an aura around your body. Maybe you imagine this indigo blue as a light. Maybe it's a healing light, a cooling light, a comforting light. Maybe it's a stilling light, a peaceful light. Whatever you need from this indigo blue color, let it feed your body with whatever it needs. Feel as though you're in a blue cocoon. Secure, safe, relaxed. Allow the ground to support you so that you can really release, dissolve, or surrender into this relaxation. As you let your breath just simply come and go, as you feel the breath rocking you gently, feeling the rise and the fall of the belly and the chest as you breathe in and out, without trying to interfere with the breathing. Just witness it, coming and going, in and out, flowing. Allow the breath to come into the nose and hear and feel the sensation of the breath as it moves over the back of the throat. Maybe listening to the sound there at the back of the throat. The steady, still but relaxed way of the breath sounds rather like a baby snoring gently. Maybe you hear that breath like the sound of a calm sea. Drift into the rhythm of the sounds of your breath. The sound of this breath at the back of the throat resonating. A deep resonance. That resonance becoming a vibration. Allow the sounds to become like a mantra. Listen to the mantra, the sound of your breath. The sighing breath. The ocean breath. Sounds and the sensation, resonance and the vibration spreading throughout the chest. Maybe spreading elsewhere into the body. Allow the body to feel open to the sound and to the vibration. The mantra of the breath, breathing the body. And as the breath deepens, feel the body go deeper too, deeper into the sound. Breath harmonizing for the body, with the body. Breath calming, breath balancing. breath healing. This unification of body, breath, mind. Notice the pause between the in-breath and the out-breath. Still point. Whole body breathing. Whole body in harmony with the sounds of the breath. Your own mantra, your own vibration. Your unique unification, mind, body, breath, stillness, peace. This is yoga. And from this place, allowing the sense of hearing to shift from the sounds of your breath outwards, to become aware of life going on around you through the sounds that you hear. Allow your attention to drift to the sense of touch and the contact points between your body and the ground. Feeling the weight of the feet, their contact points with the ground. Feeling the weight of the legs, their contact points with the ground. The buttocks, the back, the shoulder blades on the ground. The arms, the back of the head. And as you deepen those in-breaths, now imagine drawing energy back into the body until you're able to allow some little movements into the fingers and the toes, the hands and the feet, the arms and the legs. Maybe a little roll of the head side to side. If you prefer to stay exactly where you are, continue snoozing for a bit longer, then stay there. If I don't see you move, I can end your session for you. But if you need to get going, take your time, stretch and move however this body needs you to. Maybe bringing the knees in over the tummy, maybe having a little rock side to side. Find your way over onto one side, take a moment there, only coming up to sitting just when you are ready.